City Council Committee on Ordinances, Licenses. What do we have for attendance here, by the way? Okay, I guess we're good. City Council Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole met in Council Chambers on Thursday, October 23rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. for the purpose of discussing the matters listed below. Notice the meeting was posted on October 23rd, 2025. That's not correct, but 1:13 p.m. In attendance, we have all members of the committee except for Councilor Varela. From the Committee of the Whole, we have Councilor Merkel and Councilor President Prosnewski. We also have with us City Solicitor Beth Renard and Mayor Pangallo. Tonight we'll be discussing the granting of certain licenses, secondhand valuables for Game Zone, and an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to retail marijuana establishments. So we will start with Game Zone. Any motions from the Council Marceau?
Thank you, Chair. I move to grant the license.
Council Marceau moves to be granted, seconded by Councilor Cohen. All those in favor? The matter carries. Okay, on to retail marijuana establishments. So as a reminder to all, this is two orders that came into the council. The first was an ordinance change or a zoning change, which will go to the planning board for a joint public hearing with the council, which I believe has not yet been scheduled. This is just the ordinance change here. So we had this free space here before our meeting, so I figured we'd get in here and get our questions answered by, if we have questions, by the mayor, the city solicitor, learn a little more about it to sort of smooth things along if the council decides to move this along after it comes back from the planning board. So I will hand it over to either Beth or the mayor to sort of talk about the background behind this change. What?
Defer to Beth on this. So as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, the ordinances, one is in the general code and one's in the zoning code relative to the cap established on the number of marijuana retail establishments in the city, limiting it to 5 establishments based on a percentage of our alcohol licenses. So this is a proposal to adjust that cap to allow for up to 3 additional licenses to be made available for businesses to seek, and prioritizing those for social equity program participants and economic empowerment to priority applicants through the Cannabis Control Commission.
Talk through just some of the background about the social equity program with regard to retail marijuana.
Do you want to take that one, Beth?
So the social equity program allows individuals who have been, well, from communities where they found that there's a disproportionate number of folks who were incarcerated for marijuana-related offenses, that being Lynn, Boston, and other larger communities. There's a program whereby if you had a family member who had been incarcerated for marijuana, you could get into the program. If you yourself, or from what I understand, most of them meet the first criteria, which is from the community, Boston or Lynn or whatever it might be, and also of lower income. So you get to participate in this program, and it provides education and training and technical assistance for you to learn how to run the business. And they found when the cannabis industry first became legal that there were huge monetary limitations because of all the hoops you had to go through, personnel and, infrastructure improvements and getting a leased space and figuring out the zoning and all of that. So this program was designed to help people get into the business. And so the Code of Mass Regulations requires that if we add new retail establishments, that there be a preference for social equity participants. So I looked online today, and there are over 300 people that have been approved and gone through the program. But a very small number, I think it was 59 of them, actually have a business. So there are a lot of people that have participated in the program that don't have an opportunity, at least if the data is up to date.
Those numbers one more time. Sorry.
I think there was 310 approved social equity participants, and there were 2 numbers. It was somewhere between 59 and 79 that had actual licenses.
Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very supportive of this, and to the solicitor's statement about how difficult it is for people to meet the financial thresholds. It's 6 figures to start. I mean, a cultivator, I think, is 500,000. So it eliminated a lot of people who came in, who represented marginalized communities, even outside of this program, who may have been good, business people to run businesses. Thank you.
Councilor Marcelo.
Thank you, Chair. I will say that I'm glad that the applicants would be certified or, pre-verified by the state in this case. My question is, how come we're only setting aside 2 of the licenses, definitely 2, for the social equity?
I put that in there because that's what the CMR says, that would be the percentage. It had to be more than 50%, so.
50% of new.
That's why I put 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but a total of our soon-to-be possibly 8 licenses, right? Because we have 5 plus 3. It would be a 25% of that would be reserved for social equity.
Right, so 2 extra licenses, yeah, whatever the math is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, I don't know if you want to speak to if a business closes that has a current license, how those are prioritized.
It'd be 1-to-1, so 1 social equity to 1 non-social equity.
So, because that was going to be my next question, if one of our existing shops does close, then the next applicant would be a social equity?
Right.
And then if a second one closes, it would be what?
It could be not a social equity, or it could be social equity.
Okay. All right.
Preference would be, the policy will be 1-to-1.
Can you explain the 1-to-1? I'm sorry.
So the new regulations require that you either adopt an ordinance to say that, any licenses, for example, in the next 3 years would be all social equity, or you do a 1-to-1. And in talking with the mayor, it seemed like the 1-to-1 was the most advantageous to helping diversify the field.
Said otherwise, you mean every other?
Every other.
Okay. When you say 1-to-1, you're saying it would be 1 social equity, 1 non-social
Right,
equity.
at a minimum, yeah.
Yeah, if I may, so at a minimum, it's a requirement but that it doesn't mean that second license would not go to an equity applicant. It's just that at least 1 out of 2 would.
Got it. Councilor Jerslow.
Thank you, Chair. Mayor, could you tell me what the benefit would be to the city to add more of these licenses? I know there's an enforcement component to these businesses. And how much approximately a year does the city get the revenue for that 2% tax? And is it really worth it to add more businesses that require enforcement from the city?
So I thought I might get a question about the excise collections. So we have a 3% local excise assessed on cannabis sales. And in FY24, we received $850,000 in that excise. In FY25, that dropped by 19% to $690,000. And we obviously don't know the FY26 numbers yet, but it's a declining amount as the market has kind of reached a saturation point. So this isn't being motivated by, I think, a desire to collect additional excise taxes off of it, but though as more stores open, if there is more business activity, that does generate more excise tax revenue for the city. The stores provide jobs, they provide growth to our property tax base, our commercial property tax base in many respects. So I think we derive those benefits from it. But I also believe that, we've seen, with the 5 stores that have opened, that the city's able to manage this process, and that it's not an industry that I feel needs to be further constrained. Limiting the market for customers is disadvantageous to consumers as well. So we provide more opportunity for consumer selection by allowing for additional entities to move into this space, particularly as with those, because Salem was one of the early entrants into this space, we didn't really see the availability of these licenses going to social equity and economic empowerment priority applicants because we were so early in the process. And now we know, as the city solicitor indicated, that there are entities out there that have completed the certification that are looking for opportunities to create their businesses and contribute to the economy. And we think that it would be appropriate for Salem to be able to help make that possible.
Have you heard from the businesses that are here now in Salem that's invested a lot of money, like what it would do to their businesses?
I've not heard. No.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So I think if we have no other questions, I guess the motion here would probably be to leave this in committee. Because we don't know, we have a zoning ordinance that's coming before us, so this would come out of committee with a positive recommendation with that zoning ordinance, I assume, if we decide to move forward with that. But I guess I'll leave that open to discussion on the committee if seeing confused looks right now. Councilor Cohen.
Yeah, I don't understand why we wouldn't just refer it. So I'm going to move that we refer it with a positive recommendation, because it could actually, well, I don't understand why it would have to be at the same time, because we're not meeting at the same time.
Because so the reason that I think that would make the most sense to do it that way was that we have a zoning ordinance coming out too, so the council could choose not to pass the zoning ordinance, and it would be strange to not pass the zoning ordinance and pass the language change. But Councilor Morsillo.
I'm just going to ask our city solicitor what your recommendation is.
So they go hand in hand, because the zoning ordinance has the limitation in that as well. And these retailers require a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. So I would either leave it in committee, or if you report it out with a positive recommendation, I don't think the council should act on it. But if you wanted to get it out of your committee, being the end of the calendar year.
Word out and table it.
Right.
Yeah. Councilor Morsillo.
Is the plan to try to wrap this up this year, the zoning portion? President, do you know?
No, I don't believe that there was pressing to be something that was going to be wrapped up this year. I agree with Councilor Hapworth and the city solicitor that we don't want to put the cart before the horse. Let's get the zoning issue and the joint public hearing and planning. I think there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered as to if we do grant licenses and change the zoning, where are these establishments, what areas are they going to be in, things like that. So I think there's just a lot of things that have to be hashed out. I don't think we're ready for it to be pushed through that quickly.
If I may,
Yeah.
where they go is already established. So what's before you for zoning is just the number. So nothing is changing as far as the table of uses goes. It's just the number, the 3.
Councilor.
I'm sorry.
Councilor Cohen.
Yeah, through you, Chair, to the solicitor, I don't know why we can't refer it to the full council. It doesn't mean that it has to come in front of the council at the next meeting.
True.
So I'm going to move that we refer this to the full council with a positive recommendation.
To be clear, your intention here would be that it would be referred to the full council and then it would be tabled. Yeah.
I just would like this committee to make a statement about how we feel about this order. So that's my motion.
Councilor Cohen moves to refer to the full council with a positive recommendation.
Question.
Has not received a second yet. Councilor Morsillo.
Thank you. Through you to the city solicitor. If something is tabled, can it transfer over to the new year?
Ooh, good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know I have to look, I don't know.
I think at this point, can I just weigh in here? I think we should just leave it in committee. We'll have to come back. We have other meetings scheduled. If we get the joint public hearing in November, we can get this out. We can also pull it out of committee from a city council meeting. We don't have to come back to refer this. We can make a motion to pull it out of committee. So we have options here.
Yeah, and at the very least, we can hold a quick meeting before one of our 2 remaining regular meetings and pull it out if we need to. But otherwise, it can transfer over to the new year. Councillor Cohen.
Okay, I'm going to withdraw my motion. I made a statement of how I feel about it, and I'm going to move that we keep it in committee.
Councillor Cohen moves to this remain in committee, seconded by Councillor Morcillo. All those in favor? The matter carries. One more motion.
Move to adjourn.
Councillor Morcillo moves to adjourn. All those in favor? We're adjourned.